Okay, so the frequency or the speed of the flux is given by the ns or omega s lah. Ns is speed in term of rotation per minute. So when we divide by 2 pi over 60, we got this formula lah. So we also can present the speed of the synchronous frequency by this radian per second. That means 2 to omega e over p. 2 to omega e divided by p, where omega e is equal to 2 pi fe lah. 2 pi fe, which is fe is our supply frequency. That means we understand that we can change the speed of the motor by changing the frequency and also number of poles. By changing frequency or change the number of poles, we can have different synchronous speed or different rotor speed lah, because rotor speed equal to 1 minus s multiplied by omega s. 1 minus s multiplied by omega s gives us the rotor speed. You must know that rotor speed is mechanical speed of the rotor. When we talk about rotor speed, it's mechanical speed, shaft speed. This meaning by the rotor speed. Omega s is synchronous speed, the speed of the flux in the machine. The one that we measure using the tachometer is a rotor speed, not the synchronous speed. Okay, so hopefully you can differentiate between these two frequencies lah. Okay, just go this one. All right. So now we have flux in the machine. So the flux will cut the stator conductor and also the rotor conductor. Because you know the machine got two kind of conductor, two kind of windings. The first one is a stator, the second one is rotor. Right? So the flux will also induce the voltage at the stator part, or sometimes we call it this back EMF lah, at the stator part. And also EMF also will be produced in the rotor part. So there are two EMF on the stator and the rotor part. Okay, so we know that the difference between synchronous speed and rotor speed, we call it the slick speed. WSS stands for slick speed. Slick speed means the difference between synchronous speed and rotor speed. What's the difference between these two? So it is called it the slick speed or slick frequency. Same thing lah, depend what kind of symbol we use. And it must have the unit lah, because speed minus speed. It can be in radian per second or it can be RPM lah, depending on what kind of formula we use. If we use radian per second, then we got radian per second lah, the unit. And the ratio between slick speed over synchronous speed, we call it slip. This is slip. Induction motor, slip. The slip for the motor can be go from 0 to 1. I mentioned before lah. 0 mean when the motor when the rotor speed equal to synchronous speed, then we got 0 slip. Okay, if the motor rotate at synchronous speed, then we got 0 slip. And slip equal to 1 when the rotor speed equal to 0. That means at stationary or at standstill, the machine not moving yet, then the slip equal to 1. So the motor operation in between these two can be 0, in between 0 to 1, 0 to 1, depending how much slip we operate the motor. Or in per unit 0% to 100%, like that. If you calculate something, you got the 3 or 4 and something wrong with your calculation, so it must be the maximum must be 1, cannot more than 1. Okay. And also we must notice that the rotor speed cannot operate with the same speed with the synchronous speed. What happens is rotor speed, your rotor operate same as a synchronous speed. We know the slip equal to 0, right? Just now we know already the slip equal to 0. So actually what happened if slip equal to 0? Meaning that if you drive, in simple analogy lah, if you got two car A and car B, for example. Car A speed at 100 km per hour. And car B have same speed, 100 km per hour. So what happened if you drive two cars with same speed? So it never overtake each other. It never overtake. It never cut. So that means there is no water induced lah. If the rotor speed equal to synchronous speed, that means there is no water induced in the rotor conductor. So when there is no voltage, there is no current. When there is no current, there is no torque. That means if the rotor speed equal to synchronous speed, the torque will be 0 lah. So the motor generate 0 torque. That means in the induction motor, you cannot operate the machine like that. It must be less. The rotor must be less than synchronous speed. In order to generate torque lah, you need to do that one. You cannot go You cannot make it. We cannot have same speed. Otherwise there is no torque produced. Okay, now we okay. All right, just now. Okay, just now we have flux now. So the flux cut the stator winding and also the rotor winding. And for the stator winding, the Kirchhoff law can be given by this one, this Kirchhoff law or equation for the stator winding. So Vs supply voltage equal to ISRS plus 2 pi F, 2 pi F XL or SLIS lah, or 2 pi FLSIS plus EAG. This equation related to the stator part of the machine. IS stator current, 2 pi Fx, 2 pi Fl is your inductance, inductance of the stator part, leakage inductance of stator part, and EAG is our back EMF at the stator part, where back EMF equal to Kf flux AG. This equation for back EMF basically. Okay, this equation for the stator part. For the rotor side, for the rotor part, the equation for the Kirchhoff law can be written like this one, where voltage at rotor ER equal to IR multiplied RR plus IR multiplied by X rotor equal to S2 pi F1, because rotor frequency, because the rotor side has different frequency with the stator side. You know that when the machine operate, because they are moving there, so the frequency of the rotor, the frequency of the current in the rotor is not equal to the frequency of the stator current. You know that when you got the stator current, you got frequency there, right? So that one you call it F1. And in the rotor side, we have the F2, or you call it the rotor frequency, where the relationship between F2 and F1 equal to S multiplied by F1. S is the slip. So slip multiplied by F1 equal to F2. And that's why you got S there. So SF1, SF1 represent the frequency of the rotor side. So they have two different frequency. On the stator they got F1 frequency, and on the rotor side you got F2, the rotor frequency. So two different frequency. The relationship between these two is given by F2 equal to SF1. Simple like that. So at stationary, if the rotor not moving, S equal to 1, so F1 equal to F2. So like it's look like the transformer lah. Transformer is stationary, right? I mean the primary part and secondary part has same frequency, meaning that transformer frequency at secondary and primary is same frequency. So similar for the motor. So if motor is not moving, the frequency in the stator winding equal to the frequency of the rotor winding, right? If the motor is not moving, like it's stationary. Okay, but when the motor moving, then we have frequency at the rotor side. That's why I got F2 there. So just to make sure lah, and the frequency of the rotor is not similar with the frequency of stator. The relationship between these two is given by F2 equal to SF1. Yeah? Alright. So and this one we can manipulate this equation by dividing the S there lah. We just divide by S. So ER over S equal to RR or R2. Sometimes we call it R2 or R. Same thing in rotor. R stand for rotor. Or we can use the number 2 for the rotor side. So RR over S IR plus this one. So we have the equation for the rotor. We have equation for the stator. Then we can draw the circuit diagram now to represent the per phase equivalent circuit for induction motor. Given by this one. They call it per phase equivalent circuit. We got 3-phase motor, but now the motor circuit diagram equivalent circuit is given by, represented by this topology. You call it per fasa, per phase equivalent circuit. Okay, this is stator part and this rotor part. So we draw this one based on equation we have just now lah. Vs here equal to ISRS. RS is stator resistance plus IS multiplied by leakage inductance, which is here lah. This is J, which is 2 pi FL. So 2 pi FL multiplied by S. We got drop there lah, drop in inductance. This one we call it the L1S, which is stator leakage inductance. And then we got EAG there, which represent the back EMF of the machine at the stator part. So this is the first part of the machine. It represent the stator. And then we know that we got air gap. So this one represented by air gap lah. Air gap. Oh, you can put the symbol lah. This is symbol of stator winding. This symbol for rotor winding, this one you got air gap or transformer air gap like that. And this your ER represent rotor voltage, ER over S. ER over S, ER over S represent the rotor voltage. Here equal to this Kirchhoff law. So IR multiplied by R over S represent this one. Plus here drop at this winding. So L1R represent the leakage inductance at the rotor side. Hopefully you can appreciate this diagram. So what we're going to do now, we're going to find the equivalent circuit for the motor single per phase. So this is the process only, the process to flow. So this is a secondary, the stator part, this is a rotor. And you can as transformer or like transformer, we can move or we can refer this rotor to the stator part. I think all of you understand about the transformer already, right? You know the theoretical part transformer where you can move. We can move the secondary to primary or primary to secondary, something like that. Similar for the induction motor, we can do the same thing. We can simplify the circuit. We can remove the winding there. We can remove the winding by referring the rotor part to the stator part, for example. Okay, so based on transformer theoretical part, we know that transformer state that voltage primer over voltage secundar equal to primer current over secundar current, right? This is a simple thing lah. Or turn ratio, voltage E1 over E2 equal to N1 over N2, something like that. EAG over ER over S. EAG is a primer voltage over ER over S, secondary voltage equal to N1 over N2. This is a transformer ratio relationship. So we can do the same thing for the motor, where A is defined by turn ratio, or winding turn ratio equal to N1 over N2. And we do the same thing lah. ER over S over EAG equal to ER over S over EAG equal to N2 over N1. Okay, hopefully you understand lah. So this is the ratio relationship between these two. And we know that when we refer everything to the stator, this relationship. So for example, you want to know IR bar. IR prime stands for stator current, refer to the rotor. Rotor current refer to stator, sorry. This relationship for the current, the relationship for the R prime. R prime means we refer rotor to the stator side. And similar for the inductance, we refer rotor inductance to the stator side. So because we assume A equal to 1. Normally in induction motor, we say that A equal to 1, ratio equal to N1 over N2 equal to 1. So easy for us lah. If in transformer, we have some ratio lah, definitely. But in the induction motor, we make things easy. And typically, we say that A equal to 1. So it doesn't matter lah whether you use R or R prime, same thing. You can use R prime or you can use R. We can use L1 R prime or we just use L1 R, doesn't matter. But you know that the turn ratio is similar. Okay. Okay, now we just rearrange this equation. We have this one. We just get the AAG here. So AAG, the back MF just now, AAG is a air gap voltage of back MF equal to this formula lah. IR multiplied by R over S plus this one. IR multiplied by the leakage inductance of the rotor side. Prime meaning that we refer to the stator already. And then we know that by doing that, we can simplify this. Now we have transformer here. Now we can remove the transformer because we know equation for AG already. We know the equation for AG given by this one. That means we can remove the transformer here. So now we redraw the circuit by eliminating the transformer. We remove the transformer, then we have this circuit. So AG equal to this drop. AG equal to this drop plus this drop. This circuit we call it the IEEE per phase equivalent circuit, which emulate or with the represent the per phase of the three-phase induction machine, induction motor. Okay, so once we have this circuit, so easy for us lah. If we know the component, the parameter, we know the RS, we know the L1S, we know the LM, and so on, then easy for us to understand the motor behavior lah. For example, you want to know how much the stator current. By using this circuit, you can easily find the stator current. You want to know how much the efficiency. So you can easily find the efficiency. You want to know the torque, how much at starting or at full load or at maxima. So we can use this circuit to easily calculate the torque. Right? So this is a circuit, what we call it, the per phase equivalent circuit for three-phase induction machine. or sometimes we call it the IEEE per phase equivalent circuit. IEEE per phase equivalent circuit. Okay, hopefully you can understand this. I can draw the circuit and you know all the component. LM stand for the magnetizing impedance, or sometimes they call it mutual inductance there. Okay, and you need to label properly lah. You need to label properly. These are stator current, these are magnetizing current, and these are the rotor current. Prime mean that we refer rotor to stator. You can put prime or not. No prime, it's okay. We understand that because we see that A equal to 1, just like that. Okay, so it's very important lah. So the next job we got to do, you need to find the parameter there. You need to find the RS, L1, LM, and so on. So we have to do the experiment lah. And like we did in the lab machine. So in the lab machine, we do 2 experiments. The first one, we do the no load test, where we run our machine at no load and we can find some parameter there. And the second experiment, we do the block rotor test. So from block rotor test, we have some parameter. And by combining these 2 parameters, we can calculate this L1, L1S, L1R. We can calculate the LM and also the RR, rotor resistance. Now, RS is, you just use the multimeter only. By using multimeter, you just remove the winding, stator winding. You can check one by one. You can find the R1 easily. R1 just stator winding, so not so difficult lah. Use multimeter only, set to ohm. Then you can find the resistance of the R1. But the rest, L1, L2 ni, L1S, L1R prime, or something you call it L2 or LM, and RR or R2 you must do the experiment to know the parameter. So if you buy induction motor, if they not provide you the parameter, then definitely you need to do the experiment to find this circuit. Once you got the complete circuit like this, then we can do some study lah about the performance. So normally this induction motor not so difficult. If you have this component already, the thing that you need to change is the S only, slip. When we say examine the motor as starting, that means we know starting slip equal to 1. So you have to change the S equal to 1, and you do all the things that you calculate current, impedance based on S equal to 1. Then you get the starting condition lah, starting torque, starting current, starting power factors, starting efficiency, everything based on S equal to 1. Okay, and then if this asks you to find performance at full load, then you have to change S equal to S full load. Just change S full load, and then do the same thing again. Find the current at full load, and then find the torque at full load, efficiency at full load, losses at full load, everything based on the S. Normally 3 things are given us here. First, S starting. The second one, S equal to S full load. And the third one is S equal to S maxima. S maxima means slip when the motor produces maximum torque. So that only 3 things only based you need to expert lah. These 3 conditions only normally we ask you to calculate about the induction motor. First, in starting, we use S equal to 1, and then full load, you might use S equal to, normally in order to calculate S full load ni, S slip at full load, you just use this formula only. This formula. So you find the rated synchronous speed, you find the rated speed, rated equal to full load lah, same thing. When we say about rated, it means that it's full load condition. So find the speed at rated or full load, and you know the S, then you got slip at full load. Then you use the slip full load to solve your problem. Yalah. Okay, simple kan? Very straightforward only for the induction motor. Okay, so now I just refer to this circuit first. We have several circuit later on. For example, this IEEE you call it. Later on, we can have the Thevenin circuit. We can have the approximate circuit. That's and maybe different circuit lah later on you can find. But normally we start with IEEE first. Okay, so based on the IEEE circuit here, you know, component resistance normally for what? It's losses, right? When you talk resistance, is losses or power consumed lah. Or power consumed by the circuit. It can be, you can say losses or power consumed because you got I square R. You know that one. Inductance is not consume any power, so you don't bother about that. So the losses is represented by the resistance in the circuit. So we have 2 resistance there, RS and also R or R2. Very good. There. We go back to here. So now the power coming to here. So when we supply voltage to the motor, the power come to here lah. P in, you call it, P in, power input. So power input equal to, everybody know the formula, cert3 V line I line cos theta. That give you the power input. So the power, you supply power to the motor now, coming to here. And then you see the one resistance there. That means it present losses in the winding, stator winding. So P in minus losses in the stator winding, you got P here, somewhere here. So this P here, we call it P air gap. PAG or P air gap. The power that we want to transfer from the stator to the rotor side via air gap. So you know the machine got air gap. So you have power here, power input here, somewhere here. So the power, when you going to transfer power from the stator part to the rotor part through air gap, we call it air gap power. So if you see this one, what is the resistance there? This one, right? So that means air gap power equal to I squared R multiplied by this R2 over S. Then you got the air gap power. PAG lah. Power that we need to transfer from the stator to rotor through air gap. Why multiplied by 3? Because this is a 3-phase machine. So the total power lah. 3 represent the total power consumed by the motor. If you don't multiply by 3, that means you got per phase only. Power per phase. So that one doesn't make any complexity lah. We know. If you multiply by 3, means the total power for the 3-phase system. If you don't multiply by 3, that means you got single phase power only. Okay, so this is air gap power that we're going to transfer from stator to rotor through air gap. And this R2 over S, we can split by 2. You can divide. So R2 over S basically R here, R prime plus this one. R2 over S or R over S ni, multiply 1 minus S. If you add these two, this resistance, this plus this one, you got back this one lah. You got back the R2 over S. So basically R2 over S can be split by 2. So the first one it represent loss in the rotor conductor, or you call it rotor winding lah. Losses. When the current flow in the rotor, you got losses. So that one you call it I squared R. R2 or R same. Multiply by 3, total loss. So this one equal to SPAG. If you multiply S with the PAG here, then you got this formula. Okay, this is your PAG. If you multiply by S, you can say SS, you got back this formula. So the losses in the rotor can be shown in this formula or in this formula, same thing. Plus this power. What is this power basically? This power basically is the power that we use to convert, to drive the shaft, or you call it, so sometimes you call it the power, gross mechanical power lah. The power that we need to change or to move the shaft so that the motor can rotate. So this is the power basically, sometimes we call it the PM, the symbol here, PM. It's not prime minister or not personal message. This is a power, gross power of the mechanical. Okay. So all equal to 1 minus S PAG. So if you multiply PAG with 1 minus S, you got back this one. So that's two power that related to the air gap. When you have air gap power, it can be split to a rotor power loss plus a mechanical power that we need to run the motor shaft. Okay, settle. So this is regarding the power. Finish. Now we're going to study the torque. We know the power already, and we're going to find the torque. What is the equation between power and torque? Everybody know, torque, power equal to torque speed, right? Power equal to torque multiplied by speed. This is a basic formula for the machine. So we know you have the power. If torque multiplies, you got the power. So but make sure the unit must be properly used lah. The power must be in watts. Torque in radian per second. The speed in torque in Newton meter, speed in radian per second. That is the compulsory that you need to change all the unit to the standard unit before you use this equation. Okay, so if you use PM, mechanical power just now, gross mechanical power, then the torque must multiply by rotor speed. Rotor speed. Just now I told you already, the mechanical rotor speed. When you measure the speed at the rotor side, that the speed represented by omega r, which is rotor speed in radian per second. Okay, so this one can be simplified a bit. and then you can get from this formula, we got this formula. So instead of using PM, we can use PAG now. Still P, but PAG. So when you write in PAG, the torque is a torque lah, electromagnetic torque multiplied by omega S. So you can use both. You can use this one, okay, fine. We also can use this formula, which torque with respect to the PAG. But omega must be omega S, synchronous speed. So the torque derivation can be two ways lah. You can use the rotor speed, but you must use the power, mechanical power. Or we can use the synchronous speed, but we must use the air gap power. And the torque equal to PAG divided by omega S. We know the PAG already just now here. Substitute this one to here, then you got this equation for the torque in terms of current, rotor current, IR, which is rotor current. Okay, understand? Any question there? Want to ask me about the derivation there? Any problem? Clear? Now we represent torque with respect to the current, rotor current. And normally in induction motor, we don't represent in that particular part lah. We normally we present in terms of voltage. We want to change the voltage. Okay, so what I got to do now? So we have to change the equation for the current IR with respect to voltage. So if you see this circuit just now, where is it? This circuit here, right? This circuit is called IEEE. IEEE ini normally they have the series parallel circuit. They got series parallel circuit. The series and parallel. Maybe sometimes little bit what is it? Difficult for you to solve. So we can do certain approximation circuit there. I show you here. And instead of using the IEEE, we can approximate that circuit. We call it approximate circuit. Okay, here. Right here. What is approximate circuit? Approximate circuit mean we approximate lah. We do some assumption lah. In approximate circuit, normally we know that when the motor operate at low slip, the current static current very small, very small. So very small mean the drop here. This is a drop across RS, drop across L1S. Considerably can be neglected lah. When you drop here neglected, that means EAG equal to VS. If the drop here very small, so we can say that EAG voltage here equal to this voltage, right? That means you can bring this inductor here. I think instead of here, we put the LM here now. That we call it the approximate circuit. We approximate only. The result very close to the original one. This one we remove. Okay, this is called it approximate circuit. This one become I stator lah. This is IM, and this is IS. IS equal to IR now. IS no, this no more IR. IS IR become like that. Okay, so based on the approximate circuit, okay, we know that what is IR now. This is EAG, approximate circuit EAG equal to VS. Because same voltage, right? So VS equal to EAG now. Previously, EAG equal to VS minus this one. But we approximate EAG equal to VS now. Same voltage. So what is IR now? Rotor current. If you see that circuit, basically, if you see this circuit, rotor current equal to what? Equal to VS divided by R1 atau RS same, R1 plus R2 over S plus J X1 plus X2. This rotor current. Or you can write like that lah. VS divided by R1 plus R2 over S ini square plus ini X1 plus X2 square, and all this must be square root 2. This number lah. This I call it the complex number kan. So this IR, rotor current. VS divided by set 2, R1 plus R2S over S square plus S1 square. This is the IR. So if we substitute this IR inside this equation just now, this is approximate method. So we can substitute IR here, rotor current, to this equation. This IR, remember, Vs divided by Z2 R1 plus R2 over S squared plus X1 S2 squared. Then we can put here, we change to this point. Yeah, right. IR equal, maksudnya, ni squared yang ganda 2. So bila squared, V become V squared lah, fine lah. V become V squared, okay. Yang square root tu akan hilang lah, move, gone lah, because square root dengan square hilang lah. Hanya square root this one, because you put square, so this one gone lah, tak ada lah. So then we can have this equation. Alright, so this represent the torque of the induction motor. So this is a very important equation, and all of you must be able to derive this equation. You must, no exception. Everybody must know how to derive this equation to get the torque for the induction motor. Right. Okay, so this one with respect to IR. Now we remove IR now with respect to voltage supply. So what we see from there? What in a glance, what we can say something about this equation. So we know that the torque can be, or the torque speed profile can be changed by changing the supply voltage. So if we change the supply voltage, we can change the torque. Okay, the torque profile lah, torque speed profile. So if you change the supply voltage, you can change the torque speed profile. That one way, one method. You can change the R, second method. If we can change the rotor resistance, R prime equal to R2 lah, R prime equal to R2 lah. So we can change the rotor resistance, then we can change the torque speed profile. So, and the third thing, we can change the omega S, which is the supply frequency, F1. So if you can change supply frequency, then we can change the torque speed profile. There are 3 methods here that clearly show that we can adjust so that we can change the torque profile. Okay, and sometimes we can change both. For example, we can change voltage. This is number 4. This is number 1, 2, 3. Number 4, we can change the voltage and frequency at the same time. I mean, voltage change, frequency change. You call it VF lah. Variable voltage, variable frequency. So we can change voltage, we can change F. F, V increase, F increase. You know that speed depends on F, right? Because just now we know that N equal to 120 F divided by P, right? So we increase the frequency, speed will increase. But when frequency increase, the voltage need to be increased also. Why? Later on we study lah. That we call it VV over F. Both must be changed at the same time. So sometimes they call it V1 over V2 equal to F1 over F2 lah, like that. Or some you can say that V1 over F1 equal to V2 over F2. So the ratio must kept constant, V3 over F3. Whatever you change the voltage, frequency must be changed, so that the ratio between V over F can constant at all time. There's a reason behind that lah. This is a 4th method lah. And this method is very famous in induction motor speed control, where they control both voltage and frequency. So that's the best method. Yeah, we know that to control the speed of induction motor. They call it the ratio of V over F, the constant V over F method. Alright, hopefully some you know already about how first you must know how to derive equation to get this one. And then okay, now based on this equation, torque equation here, we can plot the torque speed profile of induction motor just by changing the S now. So for example, the rest of the component must be fixed lah. When you do the plot, you must be fixed lah. For example, R2 is fixed, Vs is fixed at one value, and F1 also fixed. Then you change the S. You change the S, you plot the torque. Change the S here. S can start from S between 1 and 0 lah. Can start from 1 to 0. Then plot the torque there. So what happened to the motor now? If you do that one, we can have this kind of plot. Skip this one. Yeah, okay, we have this plot. They call it the characteristic between torque speed profile of induction motor. Lain kan? It's not like DC motor. The DC motor profile, torque speed profile is different, totally different with this one. This is torque speed profile. This is torque versus speed. So this is zero speed. Zero speed, sleep equal to 1. Different. When speed 0, sleep equal to 1. Okay. And when the speed increasing from 0 to somewhere here, the sleep will be goes to 0 whenever whenever the rotor speed equal to omega s. So whenever rotor speed equal to synchronous speed, then the sleep equal to 0. This is characteristic. You can see like that. When we increase sleep, sleep start from 0, for example. So when we increase sleep, the torque is increasing linearly with the sleep. Okay, the sleep increasing here. The torque also increasing. You can see the graph there, increasing up to the maximum torque. Whenever you achieve the maximum torque, so that is your sleep maxima, right? Then if you go further beyond this one, the torque will drop like that. We reduce lah. Dia punya karakteristik little bit weird. Dia lain sikit, different. Okay, faham? So sleep increase, torque increase up to this point, up to the maximum sleep. Whenever you go beyond maximum sleep, whenever you sleep above sleep maxima, then what happen? The torque reduce. The torque become decay like that. And this when the starting torque. Whenever the sleep to 0, whenever sleep to 1, so this is your torque produced by the motor. This torque we call it starting torque. Torque at starting. And this torque at maxima, or sometimes they call it the pull out torque. How much the maxima torque can be produced by the motor is given by this one. And this is a rated torque. Rated torque or full load torque same. So normally rated torque ni in between lah. In middle, between 0 torque and maximum torque ni at the middle lah. Maybe about 50 cent like that. That you call it the rated torque. When your torque is about this value. Okay, for example here 100 Newton meter. Just simple lah. So if the motor drive 15 Newton meter, that means the motor drive rated torque. About half of the maximum torque. Okay, so hopefully all of you understand and able to sketch this torque speed profile for the induction motor and explain lah. And then also you must be able to put all the label properly lah. The label for sleep, the label for speed, the label for torque. It's very important. And as I mentioned you just now, when you do the calculation in the induction motor, you only use 3 conditions only. 3 conditions of sleep. Okay. What is condition for sleep? The first one is starting. So starting meaning that you have to use sleep equal to 1. Okay. So when the sleep equal to 1, the motor produce starting torque. This is starting torque. When sleep equal to 1. That's first thing. First thing you need to know. So how to do that? Just change here lah. Just go back to here. Here. So when the sleep equal to 1, you got equation for torque already. You want to find torque starting torque, for example. Torque starting. So you do all the equation, but inside that, but S equal to 1 here. You can get the starting torque of your machine. That's the first thing that you need to know. Second thing is rated torque here. This is your load lah. This is your load profile. This is your load profile, for example. This is your fan, for example. This is a load torque. And this is a motor torque profile. So this load torque, here is the intersection give you the rated speed. And rated speed give you the rated sleep. This is your rated sleep there. Sleep rated. So what is the formula? Equal to NS minus NR divided by NS. We know that here they use omega S lah, or you can use that here omega S, omega synchronized, minus the speed is speed rated divided by omega synchronized. Based on here lah. Omega synchronized minus omega rated divided by that give you the sleep rated. So then you do the same thing lah. You go back to the equation just now. Use this sleep in your calculation. You get everything. You get rated torque, how much. You get the power or efficiency at this point. And the last part here, when torque is torque maxima, somewhere there. You need to calculate the sleep maxima. There's a formula for that lah. Formula for slip maxima, the calculation for slip. Yeah, given here. This formula for slip maxima is shown here already. It's shown there. This is slip maxima. In order to calculate the slip maxima, just use this formula only. Okay. You know the R2. You know the R2 resistance of rotor. Divide by RS squared plus X1 plus SR squared. That gives you the slip maxima. Okay, so you use this for slip maxima. You plug in the equation for the torque, you can get this torque maxima, and the rest of equation lah. You can find the power at maxima, torque. You can find the current at maxima, torque, everything lah. So that's only 3 different things that we need to be expert lah. You want to conquer this area of induction machine. There's 3 conditions only, as I explained before. Starting, maxima, and full load. Okay, because I found some of you, I don't know what's problem there, but they normally in the test and so on. Part A, for example, part A they ask you to calculate starting. Okay, just like that. Part B calculate full load. Just my analogy lah. But C calculate maxima. Okay. The first one they calculate starting S equal to 1. Fine. And then number B, they use the same slip to solve number B. That's wrong lah. You have to find new slip because this is full load already. Okay. Say number C. C, you need to use another slip, different slip. So don't do the same mistake lah. You must check the question carefully lah. So you cannot apply one slip for the whole question. You need to check whether they ask you to find starting, full load, or maxima. Then you must use different slip. Okay. I told this so many times, but still happen. Still one person do the same, the careless mistake like this. I don't know whether maybe they missing the class. I'm not very sure lah, but that shouldn't be happen lah. Because induction motor is one of the subject that you can get high mark. You want to get high mark, this is a part of thing. The rest may be difficult for you. Okay, understand? Alright, this what I mentioned before. So hopefully you can understand this thing. Okay, and as I mentioned just now, you have approximate circuit, right? Approximate circuit, we have this circuit just now. You just bring the inductor to the front there, and then you can do the same thing. Calculate the starting torque or rated torque and everything lah, but based on approximate circuit. Okay. You can get the result very close each other lah, but the best one is IEEE lah. Approximate circuit is just a way to simplify things. That means your result not exactly accurate, but still can be used to predict your performance machine. For example, if you use IEEE, if you IEEE, you got, for example, the efficiency equal to 89.5, for example. This using the IEEE. Using approximate, you got 99.39 or 42, for example. So still close each other lah. I mean, you can predict the machine performance. But the most accurate one, IEEE lah, because this represents the actual circuit. But a little bit difficult for you because IEEE circuit is not straightforward. You have to use the current divider and some other thing lah. So which is not recommended to solve the problem. So that's why in the final, normally in the exam we ask you to use approximate circuit only. It's easy. Easy for you to solve thing. Okay, any question? Ada soalan nak tanya?